Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you'd like to see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, episode 64. We are starting our second year in the top tier, in a game that's the World Motorsport Championship, and of course in real life, you know that, as Formula 1. And things look the same, but different as we head into the new year. The pit crew has gone from upper mid-table to right at the top with Mercedes. Sponsors still very much up there. Staff, number one now. Number one in staff. Drivers, also number one. Two drivers with maxed out stats, Colton Herta and Max Verstappen, back for a second year. Max now ready for a complete season with the team. What of course still remains though is that we are dead last in headquarters by a long shot, though we are making two upgrades now. Handling Development Center as well as the road car factory, which will help bring in some money in the future. The car still technically ninth, but oh so close to jumping Force India and Renault. So that could happen in the very near future. And if we can jump to about 7th, we can start grabbing some points on a pretty regular basis. For the car, see, we're right about where we were at the end of the season. You can see even though we are 10th in these categories, we're not at the bottom like we were before. So that's kind of that big overall sense that you get, is that thanks to the quality of these, and as close as we are on these other parts, we're well above Haas and very close to that next group of midfield cars. A slightly different look for the car for this year in the livery department, but pretty similar. And at the moment, I'm targeting one of these three areas where we are struggling and finding the quickest improvement that we can out of those three. So last season I went in shortest working design order, which put the engine last. And we really needed some power in the engine. You can already see that we do have some power in the engine now, though it's still at the bottom of the grid, and that'll have an impact going forward. But of the three that are furthest behind, I'm starting with those, and that meant brakes come first. I've already got the first one done, and the second one's going to be done in a couple days, so we'll be able to get some new brakes on the car quite soon. And none of that could happen until after the preseason testing was done. Now we do have a nice addition to our staff now in Alex Hittizinger. It's costing me quite a bit more per race than what it was before, but look at that quality. It's not the guy that I was after. We ended up not being able to sign him. Not such a bad thing though, because for a drop of 2 on the rear wing, and he's still improving. A drop of 1 on suspension, again still improving. And a drop of 2 on the front wing and 1 on the gearbox, all improving and could very much hit that next level where these are both going to be 20s and those 19s before too long. Well, for him, it's almost half the price of what it was going to be for the guy that we were after, which was James Key. James Key ended up signing on with Toro Rosso, and look at that, $625,000 per race. So huge difference in the cost there. And $299 for Hittizinger. So yeah, definitely saving some money and happy about that. That's one department where we are standing to lose a lot of money per race right now, just as we did last season. So those sponsorships are going to need to keep rolling in for us to find some success. Okay, with only a couple options here, I need to go for the 7th or above. And we've got a 22 lap race. I don't think I need to go into the mediums. We're also looking at rain on the race day, so we very well could be on the intermediates at some point, which does complicate things. It really, really does. Kind of want 2 sets of mediums. Definitely want 3 sets of softs. That gives me 1 extra to go after here on the super softs. I think that's a decent way to go. We'll prep softs for a bonus. We'll prep super softs for a bonus. We'll have mediums available for race. And looking at fitting parts, we're on all originals. And here's that tricky part about the first race of the season. The reliability is low on everything, and there's going to be a lot of cars DNFing in the first race of the season. There's the new brakes, but they're only at 40%, so they are not on the car. And so you can see we're in the low 70s. Here we made improvements to the engine, front wing. Here we made improvements to the gearbox. And those are the ones that take the longest and have the biggest impact if there's damage. That's why I went for reliability improvements on both sets of those. Rear wing struggling at 67%. Suspension also, I very much need to get the reliability up before the next race on the suspension. But in terms of where we're at, estimated race position is 12th for Verstappen. It is 11th for Herta. So you can see just how far along we've come. That these cars are just outside of the top 10 now in terms of quality. And then you put best drivers on the grid in those cars, and that should hopefully bump us up into the top 10. By the way, I have a love-hate relationship with Australia on the Grand Prix side, not real life side, but yes, real life side, the Grand Prix part, not Australia itself. Australia is great, but this course is a difficult one to drive if you've ever played the Formula One game. It is a struggle, to be sure. So I have just a couple parts that could afford to have some weight stripping. And that's too much. Okay, keep those at 82. So we get just a small performance boost, but the other cars are probably not getting it either. Now, last year Colton Herta managed to get on the podium here, which was phenomenal, but that very much came down to the crazy race conditions. Okay, so 18 to 20 laps, that's most of the race right there on mediums. That's why I only have the 2 sets ready, because I sensed that it was going to be like that. That's 17 laps. That leaves only 5 laps. This, though, softs, right? You can get 11 and 11, and that's race distance. So 1 stopper on softs. So I'm going to get those ready first. And we're going to get practice underway. Okay, so we're set to race trim. I appreciate that. I do not like when they do qualifying first after what happened last year. Okay, they're both set to race trim, so out they go. We'll go into attack mode so they can get around the lap a little bit faster and get back to the garage. We're going to head straight back to the garage. Just out to get a feel for the car. This could benefit me is that everybody's on mediums or super softs. They're not on one or the other. Super softs are your qualifying tire, but not really a very good race tire. If you want to run super softs in the race, you're not going to get very many laps out of them. And ouch, this is a pretty ugly balance here at the moment. That might be a good way to go. Downforce is way off. Now the speed balance is too far off. Reel that back in a bit. And we'll try that. Assuming that Max is pretty bad as well, and sure enough he is. The handling's good. That's nice. That's definitely too far, but we'll see what direction that took us. Alright, them both set to coming back in. Turn that up again. And get them around track. Alright, first bonuses are unlocked. More importantly, we've got a setup to get down. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. How did I pull that one off? 98%. Just like that. Alright, we've got 1/10. We'll see if that adds a percent or so. Okay, we'll go 12 laps. We'll finish off your bonus. You're in good shape. Max, not quite as close, but 95%. It's not too shabby after where we were at. Okay, we're still in great, which means I think the handling's probably going to be in between. So we'll make a small adjustment. We'll try this way. And then here. Now, I don't like what that's done here, so let's get this a little more aggressive. That's neutral in between. That might need to go the other way, but we'll see. Max, not quite there yet, so I'll keep him on 4 laps, but we'll let him run a little bit. But Colton's going to be out there for a while, so I'll keep this on neutral. We'll keep that on neutral, and away we go. I'll get 1 hot lap in for Max, and then I'll bring him back in. Okay, tire heating, so much better than where we were a year ago. Okay, now we're going to bring Max back in. We're going to leave Herta running. Okay, we're close. Very close. 97%, which means I think I went the wrong way on the speed balance if these both hit it excellent. Which means I need to bring the speed balance the other direction. Like that. And we'll see if that brings us up. Okay, hey, oh wow, we've got triple bonus. I missed that. We're going to switch to qualifying. Yeah, we'll switch the tires to the Super Softs. And that means we also need to bring in Herta, get him swapped over as well. So we'll ride with him until he comes back in. There we go. And yes, tire heating, very good. That running normal allows you to get ever so slightly cooled off. Okay, we dropped 1% with the slight downforce adjustment, which means it's back the other way. And that was... We'll try 8.7. Okay, so qualifying trim, 3 laps, super softs, and we'll back up a little bit so it's not too crazy. Oh, it's starting to rain. It's not going to rain much though. We're not going to get anywhere on intermediates on that one, so let's just focus on what we're doing here. Trying to get the super softs and the qualifying bonus in. Okay, super softs, they're holding up similarly to where they're right about neutral. Max getting ready to head in this time. Gonna ride with him. Ooh, nice. Okay, triple excellence. So we made the right move. 99%. So that's the setup we want. Let's go 3 laps. Qualifying trim's nearly locked down. However, the tires are almost a full level behind because of the damp track. So we're going to try to at least get that second bonus, which will help us out in qualifying. So we'll keep these on. Herta's about to come in. Slow this down. I want to get him back out there for that last 40 seconds to try to pick up the bonus. We got to level 2. I don't think we're going to get level 3. No, it's not happening. Max is coming around. And yeah. So just a level 2 bonus on the super soft tires, but we did get the qualifying bonus all the way up to 3. We got the race trim to 3, and we got the soft tires to 3, which will be our race tire pending the rain situation, which could very much throw everything in to turmoil on that. And so this is different. New regulation changes, and it actually is familiar because we're going to an actual Formula One style. Other than that, it's whatever, if you make it out of Q2 into Q3, whatever tires you use in Q3 are what you're going to start the race on. So that's the difference. It's not the Q2 tires. Alright, so it looks like it's raining. Very much looks like it's raining, and the rain's going to go away, so we're not going to go out on track to start the race. We're going to wait. I do hope that we'll be able to get on the super softs. Just a 25% bonus, but we want the super softs. Oh yes we do. We do not want intermediates. We're gonna sit and wait. Ooh, it's just a 10-minute session. Okay. Well, I think that's where we were before. Thank you. Can't see you. Oops, come back to me, please. Thank you. Track is very much wet right now, but we're hoping it's going to dry out. The lights are even coming on because of it. Okay. Track's soaked, but yes, it does look like it's going to dry out, so everybody else is going out and getting a time. Oh, you know what? Look at that. The auto time, the little bug in game has never been towards my team. But look at it this time. It's usually Mick Schumacher who is getting that bonus. Yes, track's going to be dry for the last couple minutes. Will there be any track grip? There will be. Okay, times are about 1.5 minutes. Oh, there you go. Bug's gone. It didn't count the time, so. Minute 26. So I need at least 2 minutes to get around the track and ready. So we'll send them out at 2 minutes. Maybe 2:10 to be safe. I'll stagger them by a few seconds. Let's send Colton out. And he's got some clean track. Put him on auto. And here goes Max. Hopefully 157 was not too late. Alright, now where am I at? Cornering, acceleration, heavy braking zones. Okay, and now we can bring those tire temps up a bit. A little rhythm chicane, heavy braking there. Okay, we're already pretty close on tire temperatures, and we've got a long time to go in the lap, so that's good. We can. Yep, back off. Perfect on tire temps, just a little overheated on brake temps. I don't know what Colton got because I was very much locked in on Max, but let's see Colton a little bit further into his lap right now. How are they running? All we can really watch is the sector time, so we're 0.3 of a second down right now. That's not bad. Not bad. Max haven't hit the first sector yet. Everybody's putting in a new lap though, so times are coming down. There's Norris, and we're a second behind Norris. That is terrible. Herta does not have a good time at all at the moment. Max is a little bit better, 1/10 of a second better, but we're very much towards the back end. Herta goes 15th. So he will get through, maybe? No, Herta is out in Q1 as he drops out, and so does Max. We just miss it, so 16th and 17th. I am not a pure pace car yet, though, as we are still just 9th best. That is Prima in red behind us, so Valdez and Fuoco. Those are the automatic ones that we're going to beat. Here is the Renault. So we beat one Renault, Nakashita. Still driving for them, stays ahead of us. And there we go, eliminated in Q1. That is the car's pace. That ultimate pace is very much what we're going to face on a regular position. So Prima, straight to the back of the grid. Max just missing out. Just missing out. 3/100ths of a second. Renault kind of split them, and McLaren just ahead. So you can see there are some driver changes, like Carla Gata, who I think we raced against before, driving for Red Bull. Bargasov's still there. Norris and Mick Schumacher still for the Mercedes team. Newgarden in the Ferrari along with Leclerc, and those are your top teams, other than Toro Rosso splitting Leclerc with Savanin. Harrell's still for Williams, Sainz still for Williams, Giovinazzi still for Toro Rosso, so those. Just one driver change in the top 4 teams. And then we get down to that midfield pack. So the Force India is Nordstrom and Ocon. McLaren has Van Dorn and Marilinen. Nakashita for Renault, which I believe he was with Haas last year. Along with Diaz Sanchez. So Sanchez now for the other car for Renault. So Renault, a new lineup. And then, of course, the new team coming in. Fuoco should be familiar to a lot of people who do watch some F2 racing. We'll go ahead and simulate through the rest of the session so that we get to the race. Oh, I like how they do this. It's a good format. This is actually, in all the time that I've played this game, this is the first time that they've actually had the actual 3 qualifying sessions. So it's Ocon, Nordstrom both out, Nakashita out, 1 McLaren out, and 1 Toro Rosso out. So Savannah all the way down in 11th. Norris still the fastest. On to the top 10. The only reason why I have a sponsor objective of 7th is because that was my only choice besides 3rd, which I know 3rd's a bit out of reach. It is raining here in Q3, so that's going to throw things off for the start of the race. Those guys are all on intermediate tires right now. And it is Lando Norris on the pole. Carl Gata is 2nd, Newgarden 3rd, Margasel 4th, Leclerc 5th, and Schumacher is 6th. The McLaren of Van Dorn is all the way up in 7th, well above his teammate. I like the format, the layout there, the GUI on that one. Again, race objective is 7th. I don't have too many high hopes for that, but I do hope that the rain will be a factor today. It's not going to be at the start of the race. Makes me wonder if I should go with the medium tires instead of the softs. But we'll go with the softs for now. I can see half the race. I'll take that big bonus. We'll get that 30%. It looks like we'll definitely have to pit, and that could cost me if the rain comes late in the race. Now, if you can avoid the pit stop, then we're fine. Depends on how hard the rain comes and when it comes. But it's definitely not coming through the first half of the race. So, again, soft tires, a stop halfway through the race will get us to the end. They should be able to make it 11 laps. That does mean I will have to double stack them. So hopefully there's a little bit of a gap between the 2 cars at that halfway point. But we'll go to push mode. We'll go into high fuel burn. Got to be really careful on car condition for this race, as both cars run the risk of not making it till the end. We'll be on neutral most of the race. And look at that, these guys are all locked in on their super soft tires from Q2. Okay, so it is normal, it is standard. They're locked in and they're going to have to pit so soon. Oh, I love that part of the new format. As then everybody else outside of the top 10 on mediums or softs. Starts to look like a normal race. 5 lights here in Australia, in Sydney for the Grand Prix, and they are out and we are off racing. Max gets a good start. Herta gets a decent start, but he gets caught out behind Ocon, and it slows him up. Max, meanwhile, makes his way through the field a little bit. Is currently in P14 as we've got Valdez running off the track there, and Valdez is now well behind in 20th. He rejoins the track after running wide, And Max, after early progress, is now side by side with the Renault, splitting him and Herta. 3 wide, that's certainly not good for our progress. And now the other 2 Renaults are there, so we've got a little Oregon duck sandwich, some green and yellow, but Max gets caught to the outside and drops 2 positions. Herta also dropping back, so not a good result on that sequence of corners. We get lap 2 underway, ERS now available. But where to use it here, probably the front stretch, but you can certainly use this stretch as well if you want. But coming out of here into the front stretch is going to be the most obvious ERS area. So Harrell already dropping back, and all of these guys are going to need to pit soon. That is good for us. We'll keep an eye on the weather to see if and when it's coming, but it's definitely past the halfway point. So I will have to pit at some point still in the dry. We're now 15th and 17th as Herta's gotten around Merlinen. We should theoretically see our way up to above Nakashita before long. Van Dorn already pitting. And comes out on soft, so he's going to have to pit again as well. That's going to really set him back. Look how far the gap is behind us. He'll make up ground in a faster car, but not significantly. Alright, it is time to settle down. Remember, this race I will probably have a lot of fuel left over. I've got to make sure that the car makes it to the end. The condition drops a lot faster when you are on higher engine modes. And looking at the condition the way it is already, we cannot afford that in this race. So at the moment we are P15 and P17. And Van Dorn well behind, so that's good. And a lot of the other front cars are all going to be pitting quite soon. And they're not pulling away in this one. I mean, we're still only 10 seconds back of the lead, even though we're only in 15th place. And I have not used any ERS yet. We're up to 50%, so I will try to here at some point. I think actually at the moment Herta's in a better place to make an overtake, so we'll try to get him above the McLaren of Merlinen here when we hit the front stretch. So prepared to go. And let's see, here we come on it now. Front stretch. And he closed the gap, but he was too far behind to begin with. Verstappen is closing in now on Diaz Sanchez. Maybe I'll use the backstretch for him and try that one out. Both cars already into the positive on fuel. But again, that's the part condition I'm more worried about than the fuel load. So I think we're going to be running heavy late in this race, most likely. Okay, we'll try through here and see how the ERS does. Not so good through there. You've still got that little chicane. Still requires braking a little bit, so yeah, this ERS needs to be at the front. Little ERS to defend there against Merlinen. And again, just a hint of it as the Renault in front of us pulled away. And most of the front runners just pit. Norris, Sainz, got Giovinazzi already fixing parts, all pitting, most of them onto the mediums. They could go the distance if the rain holds out, but it looks like the rain is coming around lap 13, 14. That's bad for us. That is really bad for us. But everybody's going to have to pit again, except for the cars that are on the mediums. They'll make it. So Fuoco, Valdez, Merlinen, Diaz Sanchez, Ocon, Nakashita could benefit the most and go right to the front of the grid, which is bad for us because our competitors could be staring at the top 6 positions or so. Here goes the rest of the front runners pitting now. P7, P9 for the moment. Still a pretty big gap. Margasov has not pit yet, but we've got 11 cars at the front, and then a 9-second gap back to Leclerc. So those pit stops having a huge impact. It's already lap 7. I'm wondering if I should pit early and put on super softs to get a handful of laps out of them. I think I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to pit yet. It looks like it's going to be lap 13 or 14 when we're going to be pitting. So let's assume that it's lap 14. I've got to go the distance to make it to lap 14. Margasov has pit now. So there's your top 10 is the back of the grid, while the guys who had to start on used tires at the front. So if I have to pit at lap 14, okay, that's 6 laps right now. Max is further up the grid. He would have first priority, and the super softs will definitely make it 6 laps. So I'm going to pit right now. So it looks like I should have used the mediums, but faster tire. I don't have the 15% bonus on them though, but I'm going to have Max pitting this lap, which means he needs to attack. Going to definitely use some ERS here in a little bit, and actually we're going to go into high mode there as well and get that position back. There we go. I'll go ahead and put you into push. You're going to pit the next lap. So Max into the pits early because I was going to have to stop no matter what. Once I might as well get the fastest tire on. So there we go, we come out. Come out in P18. So we're ahead of Harrell and Giovinazzi at least. And they're actually well back, so they already are fixing parts. Already fixing parts, those two. Alright, now, Herta, same problem. Ahead and attack and go into high mode, and you're going to pit this time, and we're going to have to do the same thing because those tires do not make it deep enough. Okay, so from 7th place Colton Herta is in. Max came in from 6th, but again, that's half the field had already pit. Herta, quick stop, in and out, and 1.6 seconds. Wow, nicely done, nicely done. And he comes out in P18, so Max inherits 1 position. They're still quite close to each other, and we will have to pit again for intermediates, which will take us to the end of the race. So it looks like the intermediates will be able to run till the end of the race. See all but the final lap right now. And we will not need to go on to full wets. Now the cars that we're behind at the moment, that are all on medium tires by the way, we're going to be faster than them. And those were all the front runners. I mean, Gata started in 2nd place, and we're only 2.5 seconds behind Gata. That's good news. Bad news is these cars up front, they aren't going to have to pit. So they're benefiting greatly in terms of strategy in the way that the rest of us are not. And that is bad news for me. Savannah and Nordstrom should be pitting this lap or next. And curious if they're going to try to come out on intermediates and go the distance. They might try. They're going to lose a lot. Savannah pitting now and putting on soft tires, so not even going to a faster tire. I need to use some ERS here. So both cars really. Fuel load's quite high. I've got that fuel to burn. I'm just nervous about car condition. Front wings are already 37. Max holding up a little bit better at this point. We are very much racing on our own at the moment. speed things up for a little bit as things are a little quiet on track. Okay, Nordstrom is pitting this time. Are they going to put on intermediates? They do. Bold strategy. Kind of saw it coming. They're going to lose a lot of time. But is it going to be 20 seconds? As in the extra pit stop that would be necessary? These other guys, they're not going to have to pit. Margasov, yes, but they're pretty close to gone, though. It'd be nice if they... Well, no, they're not going to have to pit. They're going to make it. When they do pit, they'll come out on intermediate. So Nordstrom's going to be slow here for a while. So Nordstrom already dropping back to 15th. We're already within a few seconds there. Now 16th, so we're catching up pretty quick on Nordstrom in the Force India. And here comes the rain. Track's only a little bit damp though, so they'll still be slow for now. We should hopefully get ahead of them. And there you go, Fuoco and Van Dorn pitting and putting on the intermediates, and just a handful of seconds behind us. So Van Dorn already pitting a second time. There you go. Now we're catching up to Nordstrom, but as the track gets more and more damp, it'll be time to pit. So we're going to keep an eye on the front of the grid and see who is pitting. Nakashita in the race lead, not pitting. Okay, Okad not pitting. Margasov not pitting. Diaz Sanchez not pitting. Marilainen is not pitting. Leclerc is not pitting. Okay, nobody is coming in yet. Valdez is not pitting. Norris. Now, I only have 1 second between them, so Herta is going to lose a second if I end up double stacking. But it looks like it's so close to time. I think I'm going to bring in Herta now, even though others are not pitting. But look how close we are to it being the right time. So I'm going to take the risk. And I'm going to pit Herta now. Put on intermediates that'll go to the end of the race. And hope that this split strategy will pay off for us. Now, how long would it take me to fix this wing? It adds 4 seconds to the stop. 3.4 seconds. That's the one part that's very much gone. I'm gonna fix the part. I don't think it's gonna make it to the end. It's gonna allow me to push a little bit harder. Okay. And you're gonna probably be pitting this next lap, so I'm gonna have Max attack. And there are other cars that are pitting as well, so he is not the only one. That front wing repair, though, did take a little extra time. Alright, so Herta's out in 17th. That's good. So Giovinazzi, Harrell, Savanin comes out behind Van Dorn and Fuoco, who pit before Nordstrom, who already pit, but look how far gone his tires are. And we ride with Max Verstappen, everybody in front of him on medium tires, but they're all probably going to pit this time. Okay, so we're going to bring him in, put on those intermediates because it is now wet. It's time. That hurts a little bit, but there's not that much to go in the race. We are not going to go for a part fix for Max. We're going to try to keep the car as it is and hope that there are some cars in front of us that are going to need to. 23 seconds between them. It looks like Max is losing a little bit of ground right there at the end. Good quick stop for Max, 1.588. That is a phenomenal time. And Herta just behind. So remember, Herta replaced the wing. So he had an extra 3 seconds, and yet they're 1 second apart. So Herta's move to pit a lap early was a good one. Okay, we're going to turn that up, and Herta, I need to use some ERS here in a little bit. It's all full. Alright, so we are in 16th and 17th, but here comes a whole slew of cars in the pits right now. Can we come out ahead of some of them? A little bit, yeah. We move up to 13th and 14th as we run. So everyone has made their stop. Here's the thing. Nordstrom, Fuoco, and Van Dorn may have to pit again. Those tires are pretty far gone. And then there's going to be some cars that are going to have to pit to fix parts. So keeping an eye on the car condition is going to be really important here in the final laps. I think Herta is going to be good to go. Max, it's iffy. It's iffy. But gearbox, the front wing, I think they'll hold up. Alright, we're going to speed things up here with 4 laps to go. We'll get back towards the front stretch, kind of check in, see where we're at. Okay, we need to get some heat into those tires. Herta just now hitting that neutral point, and condition still holding up. 26% on the gearbox here. I want to back off, but not quite yet. Herta drops to 15th, and it's Gata. Gata is so much faster than us. That is a Red Bull that's coming through, making their way. Now everybody else behind me, I don't think they're going to get past. That's Toro Rosso's. That is the 2 Williams. Surprising that they're that far back, but they did start in the top 10, right? I don't think they're fast enough. Ocon and Force India, we should be able to, well, maybe keep them at bay. They've only had 1 stop and are just behind Herta. Gata, we're not going to catch. Norris, we're not going to catch. They're going forward. Newgarden, we're not going to catch. So that's the problem for us, is it's going to take cars pitting for us to move up the grid at this point, as we've got too far of a gap. Those cars that started the race on the mediums in the back of the grid, the rain very much worked out in their favor. Okay, we're down to the final couple laps, and Verstappen getting a warning on one of the parts already. Gearbox. Down to 17%. I'm going to keep this up, though. I don't think it's going to fail. It's 2 laps. I think he can make it. And I think at this point, I can turn Herta all the way up, because he's okay. All I can really hope for is that somebody's going to have to pit and fix parts. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. It doesn't mean... Oh, there you go. There's a card. It's Newgarden. Newgarden is smoking heavily here. And we've gotten around Newgarden, or at least Verstappen has. But Max's problem is starting to slow him down. And there goes Colton ahead. Let's go push, not attack. Max is going to have to defend here. And here's where he'll defend. Oh, Herta, I left his ERS on. No wonder he got around. used up both of theirs. Okay, now attack. Attack. It's 13th and 14th. No points in the opening race. A lot of that came down to that extra pit stop because right at the front there's Nordstrom. Nakashita is third. Fuoku, Marilainen, Valdez, and Diaz-Sanchez all into the points. Ocon, the only one who was able to make that one-stopper work, who was near the back. And my guess is they had parts to fix. To be as far back as they were. So the one-stopper was the way to go, but of course, without knowing when the rain was coming. Apparently I should have gone for the mediums in that race, because we would have very much been right up there with Nordstrom, fighting for a podium. And he did it on the softs. Wow, he went 13 laps on those. Van Dorn, with his early pit being on the softs, will manage to get all the way up to second. Alright, well, we opened the season with no points. That's disappointing because that's one of the best opportunities to get up there. There were a group of cars that benefited and picked up some really, really big points. I mean, Force India already, there's 25. First race of the season. Race win for Force India, so that's going to hurt me big time because that's one of my competitors for the season. McLaren, I don't know if I'm quite going to be at their level, but they've got 24 points right away. First race of the season. Renault, another direct competitor. I think I'll probably beat Renault this season. But where are they? Well, they got, 15 points? Prima, probably going to be dead last this season. They've got 10 points in the first race. So that is a disaster of a race for me. Very, very unfortunate. Very unlucky. And at least we're 8th. Toro Rosso and Williams didn't get any points either. But on the day, 8th. This is going to very much flip. But yeah, Prima, Renault, McLaren, and Force India picking up the points they did is not good for me. Not a good way to start the season. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.